What's up, Josh? In this video, you know why I do that? Because it makes my thumbnails look funny. In this video, I'm going to show you what to do next. So I'm going to fast forward to the part where you've picked a product. So you've picked a product, you've sorted out price with somebody on Alibaba, you know, you've negotiated that. If you have any questions about how to negotiate with Alibaba, if you want me to do a video on that, if you want me to do more on Alibaba, let me know. We'll talk about this when we meet on Monday. But in this video, I'm going to show you from the point of what you need to do next after you've picked a product, but before you've ordered it. Okay, so this is the in-between stage. So obviously, when you pick a product, you want to get that all finalized with a factory. Once you're like, okay, got it. Okay, here's what we need to do next. So the next thing that you need to do, Josh, is you need to create a listing. Now I'm going to split this video up because there are some priors that you're going to want to get started as well that have to do with Fiverr, and we talked about this. So I use Fiverr for a lot of my creations. I farm all that stuff out. I don't want to waste time doing this. So jump onto Fiverr.com, and so first thing you're going to want is your brand. Come up with a brand name. Once you've written down 10 brand names and narrow it down and chose one, I mean, don't spend a lot of time humming and hawing on what brand you're going to be. You can change it at any time if you really want to. You can change your listing. You can change the brand name on your listing and everything. So pick a brand, keep it simple, and then go to Fiverr.com and get your logo made. So you're gonna type in logo, business logo for your company. We want brand logo, so let's put in brand logo design. There we go. For my first product, I found a guy on here that did some pretty simple art, and $5 for one, $25 for 5. So I got five versions of my logo made. It was just a tame doggy logo. I'll show it to you. Okay. Let's show you. No one has seen my logo. I don't share it. Okay, let's go back. This is how much time I spend on Tame Doggy. 0. That thing is flying off the shelves. I don't even know where I put it, to be honest with you. It's probably, there we go. So let me move that over. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 7. I bought 7. Cost me $25. Those are all the different logo versions. Ultimately, I went with this one right here. I gave the guy on Fiverr some details about what I wanted. Being that was a dog, I was like, okay, what's the most popular dog? Golden Lab, or whatever. So I went with that. Gave him other ideas, and he just crafted up some stuff, and that's it. And so once that's created, you need to have the source file and the vector file. So those are important. You're going to need to either give your factory a PDF version of it or the vector file. I would recommend a vector file because it's going to come out, I guess it's just more, I honestly don't know what a vector file is. I'd be laughing if I could tell you what it is. But all I know is that it's for transposing it onto products. It makes it a more clear logo design. Let me see if I'll go to my messages. I think actually it doesn't really matter. I was gonna suggest, you know, the person I use, but really, Josh, just come on here and browse the examples and see if you see font or you see something cool that stands out to you. Okay. If, say, for example, you're like, oh, I like this one. I want to call my fitness company like, you know, Biker Fitness or whatever. Okay, and that one's similar to what you want. Click on the guy's link. And then here on the right side are different options. So $20 for a basic. You know, obviously his basics include, you know, certain stuff. So logo transparency and a couple concepts will be included. $55 for a standard. You get 5 concepts. You get the source file. You get the transparency of a logo transparency. So no background, blah blah blah. And then there's the vector file. A lot of these things you can get the vector file. Like every one of these guys has a different offer, and they all can be negotiated with. You could literally tell them, I want the deluxe, but I want the vector files included with my with this offer at this price, and they'll do it. So you just have to kind of negotiate. But so once you're there, you just buy your logo. Make sure you're looking at these guys' turnaround time. I made the mistake of ordering from a guy that had a month turnaround. He was so busy he could not get back to me for like 3 weeks. And I was like, shit, I'm not waiting another 3 weeks. And then from there, because you need to give your logo to your factory. So you're going to need that. The longer it takes, the longer it's going to take for production of your product. Okay, so get your logo design. Keep it simple. Find something that suits you. Once you find something, you say, look, I like this particular image that you did. I want my logo to be somewhat like your 𝙁𝙊𝙆 logo. I want a very similar design, but obviously not copy. The color scheme I like is this. Most factories are going to do your logo for free in black and white. If you want to add one color, it's probably going to cost you an extra 20 cents a product. If you want two colors, it's going to cost you a certain amount. If you want color on your logo, if you want your logo done with screening, it's cheap if not free. If you're doing a product where it can be sewn on, if you want it sewn on, then it costs a little bit more. But in China, I mean, cost is relative. It's pretty cheap. All right, so that, as far as logo, is all I'm going to discuss, because that's all you need to do and to know. Don't spend a lot of money on it. Keep it simple. Get 5 to 7 designs of your logo, so that you just have a pick of the crop. And if you want to change in the future, you can always change your logo up. You can always send a new one to the factory, have things switched up, whatever you want to do. Okay. Next thing, you want to use 5 or 4. So I've jotted down here some keys to phase 4. Listing photos. Listing photos are the #1 reason why a customer will click on your listing. So the main image, the image that they see when they search for your products. Okay, for example, on this one here, I type in the word stroller, and it's all visual from there. Shit, I froze. Hold on. Sorry about that. My little camera face there froze. So I don't know how long it'll be frozen for, but anyway, so back to where I was at. Photos are the #1 thing you got to spend time on. You have to invest on your photos, Josh. You have to get your photos to have certain things done with them, and you need about 7 of them. 6 to 7 photos. Now, actually, I usually say get about 10, because you're gonna split test with your photos. And by split testing, meaning you're gonna one week have a certain style photo as your main listing image, and then this next week you're gonna change it with a different style photo for your main listing image, and you're gonna see which one got you more sales. Okay, and then the 3rd week you might have a 3rd one that you're gonna use for your main image. Okay, so you need at least 3 different ones. The main image ones have to have your product kind of taking up about 80% of the screen, and then the rest has to be white, just like this one here. Okay, the other photos that you'll get, you know, whether you get 1 or 2 of them, or 3 or 4 of them, or 5 or 6 of them, are photos of the product at different angles, as well as an action photo of your product in use, as well as action photo of your product, and sorry, this one doesn't have it, but usually you want to get a photo done with some badges on it. And what badges are is they are something that may say satisfaction guaranteed, or new, or and there are those badges with spiky points. Let's see if I can find one here. What would have badges? Let's go with, well, resistance loop bands. Let's see if any of these guys. So usually bestsellers have great photos. Okay, so this guy's got action. He's got his product in action. He's got, so these are titles. Okay, where it says odorless, non-stick with the actual little emojis, check marks there. Those are great. Okay, for photo editions, product placements. Just again, more titles are in that particular one. More action. Okay, there's a badge. So this particular one is a badge, warranty, lifetime warranty. And other people do their badges differently. This guy's branded all of his photos with Extreme, so he's trying to create a brand. So, I'm not going to tell you how to do that. I don't want to put you in a box. I'll just tell you things that are important, but I'll let you be creative there and study that, study other people's listings. I call it DNAing listings. And we'll be doing that in the next video a lot. I'm going to break down a lot of people's listings, and we're actually going to gather what is great out of their listing to make and compose your title, your bullets, your description, your search terms, all that type of stuff. I'm going to show you how to DNA people's listings that are top sellers and use their stuff to build your listing. And I do that all the time. So it really makes it easier. It makes it faster. It takes a lot of the thinking out of it. And you'll use your sales skills as well. And I'll get to that in the next video. But in this one, again, so photos. You want to look at images, Josh. Go to 15, 20 different images of the product you're going to launch, and get a sense of the different photos. What I've done is, I've done this in the past. I'll find, so we're not on this anymore. So now we're going to find a creative guy on here that can do product photography. Most of these guys are in the art of Photoshop and are experts at Photoshop. And they can make your product look like it's being used by Steve Nash during, an all-star game in the NBA. And he's wearing your resistance bands around his ankles while he's running, playing the game. You can get, these guys are brilliant when it comes to Photoshop. So, same thing applies. You're going to do product photography. You can even put in Amazon product photography. You don't need to, but sellers will come up for Amazon product photography. Okay, and you'll find a variety of sellers with good reviews, lots of reviews. Okay, it's always good to go through a few pages and not just stick to page 1. But I always believe in giving somebody maybe with a little bit less reviews or something. Maybe someone who's a little bit new. They shot at doing my designs for me, but for you, because it's your first product, I would say kind of go with somebody who knows what they're doing and can do it for you for really fast, because you don't want to waste your time on product 1. You want to get that thing going right away. So pick a couple guys, reach out to them, Okay, and here's what I say. When I reach out to someone on Fiverr, I'm looking at their price points. I'm like, okay, this is not bad. Let's take a look. This guy's from $5. That guy's from $200. Go to hell. Now, product photos, I will recommend that you budget at least $100 for photos. You want your photos to be the absolute best they can be. If you can afford $200, $200. You want to have at least 2, if not 3, title or pay, or excuse me, not title, but primary or I mean, honestly don't know what the word is for it, but your initial listing photo. This particular one, your first photo, we'll call it first photo, or the one that's of just your product. Okay, you want to have at least 3 versions of that. 2 is okay, but if you can do 3, do 3, because you're going to split test this, and you gotta find one that's going to work best for you. So if you find, for example, if you hire someone for Fiverr that charges $5 a photo, okay, so you're investing $15, okay, for those particular 3. Okay, then you want 2 action photos, 2 product badge, or 1 product badge photo. 2, you can have 2 if you want, and then you know, 1 displaying the product at different angles. Those particular photos that have products at different angles are harder for people to use, for people on Fiverr to do if they don't have your product. If they don't have your product, they can't actually take professional photos of your product. So there are 2 types of product photo guys. There are actual professional photographers that you can hire and send your product to them, and they will then take professional images of your product, and they will also do Photoshop for you. There are those guys, and then there are just the Photoshop guys. Okay, so your kind of call on that one. I would recommend for you, because you're just initially launching, you can just hire somebody. A Photoshop guy is usually cheaper. You probably get a guy for $50. He'll do, give you a good base of photos to use for your listing right away. Now, what you also want to do is you'll also want to contact your factory and have them send you product photos for your listing. Just tell them to send you a bunch of product photos that they have that you can use for your listing. They'll probably send you a bunch of photos of your resistance tubing. They'll obviously have the ones that they have. They'll send you all of those, and so that you can kind of temporarily use those. But then what you can do is you can take those photos and send them to your Fiverr guy, and they can use those photos and Photoshop the image out of them and then into certain action photos for you as well. So, but it's really, again, not complicated, Josh. I would just look at these ones, go, okay, let's take a look at this guy. He's got $5. He's got a 2000. That's a great photo right there. He's got nice dripping action photos. Cool. These are great. These are all great front page images. They're all white. There you go. So they have a bunch of samples. See if there's any great action ones. Action ones are really important when you're getting your photos done. Look at a bunch of different guys. This guy's a level 2. And you can even message him. You can say, contact me. Hey, 𝘿𝙁𝙊𝙆, looking at your photos, and you can say, hey, I need 3 primary photos from Amazon, basic white background with my product. I want to do split testing, it's called split testing, so that the images have to look different, like, so the basics on split testing is you want your image straight on and then to an angle, okay, and I guess to another angle showing both sides of the image, however your product, whatever your product is, in different formats. But angle versus flat, they call it. Those two types of photos are important for split testing. So when your product does launch, again, a week with one photo, then another week with the other, then back a week with the other, then back a week with the other, and you'll get a sense of which one is working, which one captures people's attention when they're looking. Like this one is amazing. Extreme has done a great job for resistance loop bands for capturing tension. Okay. And then there's your action photo with little blurbs and stuff like that. You'll have to write those up, provide them to your customer. So, and last but not least, what I usually tell people, my Fiverr guys that I'm looking at for photos, is I'll copy the link of my #1 competitor. So, for example, if this guy, Extreme, were the #1 seller, so he's the best seller, he's in the first spot too. I'll jungle scout him quickly, see what his numbers are at. Getting jealous. #1, 11s. 11s is #1. So this guy's doing 1,100 units. So let's go look at 11s for a second here. This guy right here. Okay, so he's doing 1,100. So his bands look real, nice and lined up. Photoshopped. You can even see the Photoshop lines. Nice layered version of his photos. Another layered version of his photos. Product placement of his photos. I love his because his bands tell you exactly what the fuck they are. Light, extra light, medium. That's the brilliant part of that listing. People, you know what people are saying. And then a great action photo. And you gotta believe it, but sex sells. Never use guys, always use women in your photos for every action photo that you have going. And these, without a doubt, are real photographs. And that's definitely not photoshopped on there. Unless the logo itself is photoshopped on there. But that's a brilliant, well done photo. And that's nothing even fancy is what I'm saying. So these 3 images, 1, 2, 3, would have probably all been used for split testing at some point. And you put them all in the beginning. You upload all 6 or 7. But you rotate them. Okay, this week, again, I'm going to put this image, leave it for a week. Then this image, leave it for a week. And monitor your sales day by day and see which ones go boom. Okay, so he's found that this particular photo, his first photo, the one that you see when you're seeing all the images, gets him a bump in sales. It could be 23%, could be 47% more sales with that particular photo at the helm. Okay. What else do I want to talk about with photos for you? So photography, if you want to do them yourself, you can. There are a lot of videos on how to create a photo booth out of cardboard box and some white paper and some light. I did it for 20 bucks. I didn't really like it. I just couldn't get the lighting right. I do use magic eraser apps. I'll get a picture of my product. I'll get a magic eraser app on my iPhone. I'll then erase the background. Literally I'll take like 15 minutes. I can erase the background and turn it all white. And turn it transparent if I want. And I've used those images for certain listings. Yeah, but I mean, that's a cheap way to do it. But again, and I can't stress this enough, your photos are what's going to help your product get to page 1. Not just the quality of it, but the actual draw of it. I'll see if I can find a couple that do really well. So when you're looking at your Jungle Scout, always look at listing score. So 11s actually has a bad listing score, and they're still number 1. But listing score is a rating of your overall listing scored by Jungle Scout, versus Extreme Bands has a listing score of 8. Peach Bands had a listing score of 8. Now here, if you look at it, I'll give you a reason why. Extreme Bands, right here, bestseller. Obviously bright, takes up a lot of room, clear, crystal clear words. Versus when you look at this one, you can't see nothing. When you look at this one, you can't see nothing. Okay, and then this one, a lot of product takes over the whole front of it. Listing scores are usually based on your photos, your bullet points. If you look at probably listing score of Extreme Bands, they've used up all the characters that they could for their bullet points. They've used up all the characters that they could for the description, as well as their title is fully maximized. As you can see right here, fully maximized title, and then their photos are fully maximized as well. Lots of action photos. So that's why this guy's getting a high, an 8 is a really high rating as far as listing quality score. Yeah, so just take your time to look at different photos, look at the different action photos, then contact a Fiverr guy, tell them what you want. Again, 3 white background photos, different angle, couple of action photos, and a couple of badge photos are great, and even a couple of title photos are great, where you have writing on the photo. Those are always great, but you gotta really, I mean, that can start to get a little more pricey, Josh. So I usually wait until I know my product and I know what people want about my product. One way you can determine that type of stuff is to go to listings. Okay, look at the top sellers. Okay, let's take this guy for example. Since he's selling 1100, he's gonna have a whack load of reviews. He does. Okay, so you're going to go to his reviews and you're going to look at what people complain about. Okay, so the heaviest band broke along the fold after 2 weeks of use. I am not impressed with these bands. Only used a couple times and 2 of the bands have snapped already. 120-pound woman doing bent over rows. Wow, cheap quality. Okay, so when you're having your bands constructed, if you're going to get your bands constructed, make sure you're using quality glue, that type of stuff. This is a great way to do, and I'm going to talk about this in the next video, but when you're sourcing your products, when you go and look at what people complain about in advance and you chart it and you just kind of get the number 1 and number 2 complaints, and then you deal with those complaints with the factory. You tell the factory, hey, my customers are unhappy with my other supplier, right? He constantly getting bands snapping. I want our bands, if I buy from you, to have better whatever you want to tell them. You know, I'll leave that to you. You've obviously, that's your world, man. That's your world. You grew up in it. So, but there's this. Here's product research right here. Okay, so disappointed with them all breaking, you know. So it's all about breaking, man. If you can stop the bands from breaking, you're laughing. So you can reiterate on your title photos, you know, something that handles that objection. right on the title photos. You know, you can zoom into the seam of your bands and point out, you know, double enforced and fade just make up some technologies, you know. But these are things that you'll tell the photo designer. You know, you can, like I've done it before where I've drawn on a piece of paper. I'll go, you know, okay, so I want, you know, I'll give you an example. I want my wallet to have, you know, my wallet and my logo. I want my logo here, and I want you to zoom in on this part, and I want people to know that this edge is trim design technology, and then a benefit about it, right? So now my wallet, you know, with my logo there, and then a zoom in. See if you can see that. I've sent this photo, I've literally taken a photo of this and illustrated it to my Fiverr guy and said, like, when you create a photo of Photoshop my wallet, I want you to zoom in on this part, and then I want you to give a paragraph called trim design, and I give him a write-up. And so that's how far you have to go with some of that stuff. But that stuff, you can take your time. That stuff doesn't have to happen right away. The primary things are the 3 photos that you're going to rotate for your photos. That's the primary thing, and then 2 action photos so people can see how they're being used. Obviously, for resistance bands, you can take the action photos yourself. You can show up at a store with bands. You can just go take a band set from one of the stores, have someone do an exercise with it. Again, preferably girls, sex cells, and then with the once the you know, obviously you want the action of the product to really demonstrate the product itself, so that, you know, your Photoshopper can put your brand or your logo right on it if it's not on there. Yeah, so what else? Yeah, that's about it. Okay, so I'll send you this quick video, Josh. I know I'm rambling on it, but again, just jump on Fiverr and source a guy, talk to a few of them, you know, a couple of them, see what they can do for you, check the prices, and get some photos ready. So once you have your photos ready, then what we're going to need you to do next is we're going to need you to get UPC barcodes. Okay, I'll leave this link below. You're going to need to get yourself 10 of them. I would probably say get 10 barcodes for now. They're cheap. If you buy one, it's like $5 for one, but you need a UPC. It specifically has to be a GS1 barcode, it can't be just a generic, you know, freebie UPC barcode. It has to be a GS1 authenticated barcode. Okay, so here's a link. I will copy it and put it in the body of the board, so you can just click that, or you can just search GS1 barcodes. When you buy 10 here, you get them for $2 each. And you're obviously going to launch more than one product, so you'll use the balance in the future. One other thing, so we have listing photos. Okay, you have your GS1 barcode. So now you have you're armed with your GS1 barcode, and you're armed with your listing photos. So those are in production. It may take a couple days for your photo guy to get them to you. You have your GS1 barcodes. Those will get emailed to you along with the certificate. And they'll send you versions of your barcode. At the end of the day, all we need is the number. but we need to know their GS1 and the reserved no other listing is going to pop up once you type in the barcode number, that it's on another product. It's going to be completely clean. So once you're armed with those two things, we can then complete your listing. You can put your photos in and we can go live. So in the next video, I'm going to talk about listing title. I'm going to talk about how I structure my listing title, bullet points, how I structure my bullet points, and then description and how I structure that. So I've kind of typed it out here for you. And that's what I was doing earlier today, put my thoughts down on paper so I could actually give you this and then do up a video for you. This video is going to take about an hour, this second video. I'm not going to ramble as much. I'm just going to go specifically into the details for each one for you, Josh, and what's worked best for me. Again, this stuff can all be changed. You can play with it. But it's obviously just a guideline for you. But you'll get, I've changed how I do things over and over and over. I sent you 3 or 4 videos I made for clients of mine. And if you watch those videos and compare it to what I do now, which is literally a month later, I've changed some things that I've found that were better. So I'm always looking for ways to improve my listings, and then I let all my clients know, okay, I've done this, I've changed this, and that's what I'm doing with my split testing as well, is I've added in a third photo and tested it and noticed, like, okay, one day I got 10 sales, one week I got 10 sales a day with this photo, then I put this photo, all of a sudden I'm getting 15, then I go back and then it drops down, then I go back, then it gets 15 again. Then I do a third photo, and I'm like, this one and this one are both giving me 15, but this one's giving me 10. And that's, so those are huge impacts that you'll notice from playing with your photos. Okay. Bullet points, description strategies that I use. So we'll get to that stuff. And then obviously the next most important thing for many reasons is your listing title. So this video is coming to you now. Watch the videos I gave to you. You'll probably have already started or already finished them all. Take notes, and then your custom video on your listing creation is coming up next.